Karl Marx's concept of class struggle. Karl Marx, a well-known philosopher, economist, and sociologist, introduced a powerful idea called class struggle. This concept explains how societies are shaped by conflicts between different groups of people, particularly those who have wealth and power and those who do not. Marx believed that understanding class struggle is the key to understanding history, society, and the problems that exist within them. To put it simply, class struggle happens because of the unequal distribution of resources, wealth, and power in society. In Marx's view, history can be seen as a long story of conflicts between groups of people, or classes, who have opposing interests. For example, in ancient times, there were slaves and their masters. In medieval times, there were peasants and feudal lords. In modern times, Marx focused on two main groups, the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. The bourgeoisie is a term Marx used to describe the group of people who own and control resources like factories, businesses, and land. These are the wealthy and powerful individuals who have the means to produce goods and services. They do not have to work physically to make a living because their wealth allows them to profit from the labor of others. The proletariat, on the other hand, is the working class. These are the people who sell their labor to survive. They do not own much, and they have to work for wages in factories, offices, or other places controlled by the bourgeoisie. Marx argued that these two groups are always in conflict because their interests are different. The bourgeoisie wants to make as much profit as possible, which often means paying workers the lowest wages they can. Meanwhile, the proletariat wants better wages and working conditions so they can live a decent life. This creates tension and competition, leading to what Marx called class struggle. Marx believed that class struggle is not just a small issue, it is the driving force behind major changes in society. He said, "The history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles." By this, he meant that all significant historical events, such as revolutions and reforms, happen because of the conflicts between different classes. For example, revolutions in the past, like the French Revolution, were driven by the struggle between the aristocracy, the wealthy landowners, and the emerging middle class. One of Marx's most influential ideas was that the capitalist system, which is the economic system based on private ownership and profit, would eventually lead to its own destruction. He believed that capitalism is built on exploitation, meaning that the bourgeoisie gets richer by paying the proletariat less than the value of the goods they produce. This creates inequality, frustration, and resentment among workers. Marx predicted that as capitalism grows, it would create more problems. Workers would become increasingly aware of their exploitation and realize they share the same struggles with other workers. This realization would lead to what Marx called class consciousness. When workers understand their shared oppression, they could unite and fight for change. Marx envisioned that this unity among workers could lead to a revolution where the proletariat would rise up against the bourgeoisie. The goal of this revolution would be to overthrow the capitalist system and replace it with socialism. In a socialist society, resources, wealth, and power would be shared more equally. Instead of a few people owning everything, the community as a whole would control resources, ensuring that everyone has access to what they need. Marx also believed that socialism could eventually lead to communism, a system where there would be no classes at all. In a communist society, there would be no need for class struggle because everyone would be equal and resources would be shared fairly among all members of society. This vision of a classless society was central to Marx's philosophy. While Marx's ideas have been highly influential, they have also been debated and criticized. Some argue that his predictions about the collapse of capitalism have not come true, as capitalism has adapted and changed over time. Others believe that Marx's focus on class struggle oversimplifies the complexities of society. However, even critics agree that Marx's concept of class struggle provides a valuable lens through which to examine economic and social inequalities. In today's world, many of Marx's ideas remain relevant. Issues like income inequality, labor exploitation, and the concentration of wealth among a small group of people continue to spark discussions about class struggle. Movements for workers' rights, fair wages, and economic justice often draw inspiration from Marx's writings. His work reminds us to question who benefits from the way society is organized, and to think critically about how we can create a fairer world. Marx's concept of class struggle is not just about economics, it is also about power, relationships, and the way society operates. It challenges us to think about the structures that shape our lives and to imagine a society where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. If you found this explanation helpful and want to learn more about sociology, philosophy, and social theory, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us create more content like this and share these important ideas with a wider audience. Thank you for watching.